Welcome, everyone. Let me get the comments started. Get the chat box opened. Give me a minute to do that. All right. And I think, let me see if I can get this. There we go. All right. The chat box is open, ready for you all to come in. We are good. It is 11:28, so we got a couple of minutes before we'll actually get started. Okay. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. Move this up a little. All right. Okay, let's see if we're on the Facebook page. Let's try this again here. And we are live. All right. Okay, we are good to go. All righty. That piece. Uh-oh, I hear clickety feets. Got clickety feets running around. All right, let's see. We need a piece of paper. And all right. So we will give it a few more minutes. I'm a little bit early. Let's make sure everybody gets on, gets settled in. It's 11:30, so I'll get started here in about 2 minutes. And if you read the in the chat box, you'll see that if you want to support me, you can send stars. There are no charge for those, and you'll see the information down below. That just helps me to reach more people. And if you do like what you are watching today, please make sure that you share the page, or if you're on YouTube and then you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe and click the bell so that you'll be notified each time a new video is uploaded. And there is a link below to join my newsletter. If you're interested, I send out a weekly newsletter with updates, free tutorials, and other information as well. Hey, Karen, how are you? Our doggie's doing pretty well, actually. It's only taken her 5 days before she would go outside and use the bathroom. So it was like party time. We celebrated. So it's a work in process. I don't know where she's at. I'll bring her on screen in a minute. They told us that she was like somewhere between 2 and 3, right? So we got the paperwork in from the rescue, which had her medical records, her rabies vaccination and tags and all that stuff. It says on there she's a year old, and we did not want to get a 1-year-old. We did not want a puppy, but guess what? We got one. And yep, potty time. So My husband took her to the vet Wednesday, to our vet, and they checked her out. They said everything looked fine. And we had scheduled a grooming session for her for next week, but the groomer was kind enough, because the dog has been traumatized, right? She just, everything is new to her. She's not been on a leash. She's, cars, stairs, elevators, all that stuff is new to her. So she just shakes like a leaf. She's gotten much better. But the groomer was kind enough to squeeze her in that afternoon. So when he got back, I took her back in the afternoon to get her groomed. So she's all clean and pretty. So that makes it nice. She's not stinky anymore. I know, don't you think? 1 year to 2 to 3. I wonder who made up that information. That was a little frustrating, but it is what it is. So we'll get started here in just a few minutes. I think she's laying in my husband's lap. So otherwise I'd bring her over here. All right. Okay, everyone. Welcome. Her name is Rosie, and I think we're going to go ahead and stick with that name. We had talked about changing it, but she knows her name, so I think we're just going to leave it that way than to try to add any more drama to her life. So we've got a crate for her, and it's so funny as we put the crate down yesterday, and I put a little cushion that we had in a blanket, and she walked right in there and sniffed around, laid down for a minute. We were like, oh my. And so that was pretty interesting. So we're going to try that today, because we've got a function to go to just for an hour in our building. So she's gonna go in the crate for an hour. So we'll see how she does. She should be fine. But anyways, but she's doing pretty good considering. But I was so proud of her when she decided to go to the bathroom yesterday outside. I was like, oh my gosh. And then we have a little dog park here, and I took her there in the morning before it got really hot so she could run by herself. She gets along, but that way she could get out and just kind of get some running. Not that she doesn't walk fast. I've got a walk away chest thing that I used to use for Riley. I ordered a new one for her. We're going to put that on her today. That will help her from pulling. And I don't like with small dogs using a collar around the neck. So we're going to go with the chest, and that will help me control her more. So anyways, Rosie Posey, I know she's a sweet dog. She really is. Everybody that's met her so far has made the comment, what a sweet dog she is. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Welcome. I'm Dawn Duvall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. I've been doing this craziness for about 14 and a half years. And I live in Fort Myers, Florida. And if you've just been listening, you will hear that we rescued a puppy dog this past weekend who is about a year and a half younger than what they told us that she was, but it's okay. She is a Shih Tzu Yorkie mix, and her name is Rosie. So good morning, Phyllis. All right, so today we're going to be doing our creation anticipation sketch for the month of July. So give me a minute. I'm going to flip the camera down. I'm going to show you the sketch, and then I've made 2 cards. Give me just a second. Let me flip my camera. I should have it. I got it pretty much adjusted. So this is the sketch that we're going to be working with. Basically, this is our card base right here. We're going to use a piece of cardstock of a different color. That's going to be this piece here. This piece can be whatever you want it to be, the white. And I'll show you my first sketch. I made 2 different designs. So I'll show you that one in just a minute. And the picture here is really going to be for what your focal point is, whether it be flowers or houses or whatever design that you want to use. That's what this is. That's what this is going to represent. So let me show you the first card that I made, and we're going to make one in a different color. We're going to use the Party Piggy stamp set. It's one that just came out. And let me show you the stamp set. This is the cutest thing. So if you look at this, I'm going to use this for adults, obviously, but it can be used for kids too. But isn't this cute? It comes with the dies, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So there's 9 photopolymer stamps. So you've got a happy birthday. You've got these little party decorations. What's shaken bacon, a little hat, a flag, let's party. And I am so proud of you. So I think this is the cutest thing. So that's what we're going to make today. And then it comes with 4 dies. I think there's 4. Yeah. No, 5, I apologize. You've got the, when you stamp it, which you'll see, the head gets cut out separate from the body. Then we have a design here for the flag. We have the party hat, and then there's a circle here that we can make it into a shaker card. I have not ordered the shaker bubbles. I'll probably order that this next time. And so we'll use this again and we'll make a shaker card. So that'll be fun for a birthday or any kind of celebration. All right, so let me show you the card that I made. And it's similar to my sketch, hopefully, if you'll see. So the baby, this is a bubble bath, which would be this piece right here. And then this piece here is white that I stamped all over with this decorative stamp right here. And I just stamped in multiple colors. And then, of course, the pig is what we stamped in Memento Black and we die cut. That would encompass this picture right here, what I have right here in the sketch. So that's how my design came out. And then on the inside, I stamped a few more of the party decorations right there in the corner. So it kind of brings the front to the inside. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and get started making this one. And then I've got another one that we're going to make as well. So I'm going to move this sketch off to the side and I'll bring it back into the end for those that are coming in that might be a little bit late. I'm going to put the little piggy right here up in the corner so you can still see that while I'm working on the other pieces. All right, now this one, we're going to use a piece of basic white. It's going to be thick basic white. Now I've pre-cut, but let me show you how we're going to stamp the pig. And the reason I'm going to show you that, hang on, let me make sure I got all my pieces together, is I want to show you need to keep them somewhat separated, only to the fact that the head and the body, and I'll show you in just a minute. So let me just go ahead. We're going to stamp. We're going to ink up the head. Not that y'all don't know how to do this, but I just want to show you the difference in how we need to keep them separated. All right, so there's the head. And then you'll see when we get ready to do the body, how that's going to come into play, why we need to keep the separation. So let me ink up the body. And I went ahead and pre-cut it so I wouldn't have to get up and shake the table. All right. And then you want to bring it down enough to where you've got that separation. So when you cut them, and I'll show you why when we get ready. All right. So that's what you want to do. I also had room that I put the flag right here. So it allowed me to cut all of those at one time. Okay. So with that, let me clean the ink off. Give me 1 second. And then I'll show you why we need to make sure that we leave enough room there, because when we start coloring, let me move this over here. When we put the little piggy together, you're going to see after I color it, how his head, see how that part right there, we want to make sure we get these connected to where his shoulders are. So we'll line it up like that when we get ready to put it together. Okay. So see the difference? It's a little bit higher up here. That gives us room to place this on top. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring in a scrap of paper, and we're going to do some coloring. Let me grab my scrap real quick. Hang on a second. I'm trying to get my hands in a drawer. All right. I am going to color this one. Now, the one that I did here is done in Bubble Bath. So I'm going to do this little piggy in Flirty Flamingo. So we're going to color him in Flirty Flamingo, and we're going to do a second one, and he's going to get a little bit dirty. He's going to be a little dirt pig like he's been in the mud. So, all right, let's go ahead and get this one started. I'm going to go ahead and color the dark Flirty Flamingo is what I'm going to use to color his nose. So we're just going to get that colored, and then I'm going to do these little spots right here inside his ears. So I'm going to go ahead and color those. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. Let me let me put the smaller tip. And we're going to make his, the bottom part, which I'm going to make this pink. It's probably going to be brown, most likely, because I would think that's his hoof, right? But we're going to make it, we're just going to do it this way. So I'm making these dark. And this is dark Flirty Flamingo. Okay. And then we're going to come in and do these little things on his belly as well. We're just going to color those in real quick. Do a little color there, make a little smidge there. And of course you see his little tail off to the side. All right, now we're going to come in with the light Flirty Flamingo. And again, it's pretty easy. You're just going to color. Now you can color your pig whatever color you want, right? So I'm just going to come in with the light color. And I'm using the fat tip to make it a lot easier and quicker to get it colored. So we're not here all day. Now you can use your fine tip if you want. And I'm just going to bring this across and up to where we did his nose. And we're just going to bring this coloring down. All right. And then you can shadow it however you want. Okay, so we're going to just leave it like that for now. And then we're going to come in and do his body. Hey, Linda, how are you? And again, we're just going to color this. Now I'm going to go ahead, even though this section you're not going to see, I still want to color a little bit because I want to make sure that once we get it on there, we don't see any white. So I'm just going to take and go across the body with this Stampin' Blend. Just kind of keep it, you can, however you want to do your coloring. And I'm just going to bring this down here. I did use the dark Flirty Flamingo for the spots that you see that are a little bit darker. And that's on his hoofs and his face and his ears. All right, so we're just going to bring this in and get his big belly covered. And get that in there. And I'm probably going to leave the little, some lightness coming through some of the open white areas. He'll probably end up being dirty anyways, but all right, so let's get that colored in. Okay. All right, so that's our pig. Oops, we got to do that down there. I forgot these little guys. Hold on. Forgot to do his legs. All right, so we're going to color the little legs right there. All right. And that does look a little splotchy, doesn't it? So let's go over that one more time with the Flirty Flamingo. I just want to make sure we get it all covered. And this would be good for sponge. You could also do your sponge daubers or your blending brushes. You could also do that, which we'll do that on the next one. Okay. All right. So there's that. Now we've got him all cut out. So the next thing we need to do is we're going to go ahead and stamp. Now we're going to use a base white of 5.5 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 4 1/4, 5.5 by 4 1/4. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. All right, let's get our bone folder, and I'm doing the thick basic white just because it is thicker and it will hold up a little bit better. All right, and then we're going to use a piece of, now this is Summer Splash, and this is 1 inch by 5.5, and I'm going to glue that right down. Now, for those that just joined us, here is the sketch. So you'll see I'm building from left to right. So we're starting here, then we're going to move over to this, and then this is where the pig will go, right on that side right there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and glue this piece down. So again, this is 1 inch by 5.5. Just put a little bit of glue on that. I just thought we'll change this up. The other one I did bubble bath, but I thought let's add a different little bit of color. Actually, this is 5 1/4. I apologize. It's not 5.5. 5 1/4. So I'm going to move it up just a minute, just to give it a smidge of, actually, it's almost 5.5. Get that over there. Okay. Now this piece here, this is going to be that second white piece that I showed you. This is cut at 2.5 by 5 inches. No, it's actually 5 1/8 to be exact. This is the one that we're going to stamp all the different colors on. So we're going to bring in the little party stamp right here, which is this piece right here. So we're going to stamp some various colors on this one. We're going to start with some Flirty Flamingo. So we'll kind of keep everything in the same color family. All right, so we're just going to stamp these little celebrations. And I'm just randomly going to stamp them on here. And we're going to try to stamp off some. And then we'll come back and we're going to do Summer Splash. So let me clean this. All right, now we're going to come back with our Summer Splash. I love this color. I just love they're all any kind of greenish, teal, turquoise. All right, so we're going to bring this one in, and I'm going to flip it around so they go a little differently. I'm going to place this here. And again, you can decorate this page however you like. We'll put some right here. We definitely want to have some going off the edges, and then we'll do one. Oh, let's see, how do we want to do that? Let's do this one like that. All right, and then the next color we're going to use is Melon Mambo. These colors do go together, and if you don't have one of the color guides, the color coaches, these are the ones that I have these for sale if interested. It prints out, I print out all of the different colors that coordinate, like this one's Bubble Bath. And you've got 3 rows that shows all of the different colors that will coordinate with that particular color. And then I also attach it to a piece of the cardstock, which is the Bubble Bath. So whichever color we are spotlighting, that will be on there. So you have about, I forget, maybe 56 colors we have. And I also provide the ring. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. And I'll be more than happy to put one together for you. Or I can send it to you and you can put it together yourself, whichever works for you. Okay, and then we're going to come in with this Melon Mambo. So let's get that done. All right, so we're going to pull this one in here. It's a little bit close to the Flirty Flamingo, but this is a little bit darker. All right, so we've got that, and I think we're good. I don't think we need to add any more colors to that. That's pretty colorful. Hi, Jane. How are you? From cool Wisconsin. Well, welcome to hot Florida. We're in Fort Myers. I think it's probably, I don't know, maybe 80-some degrees right now. It might be in the 90s. I'm not sure. Okay, so this piece here, and if you're just joining, let me show you the sketch real quick, and I'll bring this back at the end. This is what we're working with. So I'm right now I'm working on this, just finished this piece right here, and that's what I'm getting ready to attach. And then we're going to attach the little piglet. We're using the Party Piggy stamp set. It's a new stamp that just recently came out. Okay, so this piece again is 2.5 by 5. So I'm just going to lay this slightly over top of the summer splash that we have. And we're going to glue this piece down just like that. Now you could take and just decorate this side of the card if you chose to do that. Nothing says you can't, right? So that's what the sketches are good for. They give you a starting point, and then you can just go from there and do what you want. All right, so let's go ahead and add this one. And then we do have a second card we're going to do, which is going to be similar. Well, it's going to be a little different. Not similar. Okay, so we're going to place that there slightly over the bright edge and try to get that centered. All right, so there's that. Now here's our little piggy. I colored him in Flirty Flamingo. So we're going to attach him with dimensionals. Now this is the part that, for those that just joined, when you stamp your pig, you want to keep them separate enough, because this here is where you've got to place his head and work his neck around to coordinate with his arms. Okay, so that's why you want to keep them separate enough that you'll be able to cut them without cutting into the other part of the body. All right, so the little pig, we're going to put him on here, and we're going to pop him up on dimensionals. So we're going to glue this down. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this part right here, and then we'll add some dimensionals. And then we've got his flag that we are going to color, since we're celebrating a birthday. All right, so we're going to let that sit for just a minute. Let's bring in the flag, and let's pick some other colors. Let's let's go with one of our summer splash, since that's one of the colors that we're using. So let's color the flag. We'll do the top one in summer splash. And then the bottom one, we'll do a different color. So let me get that colored in. And we're going to bring in the dark so we can highlight the wrinkles or the flag where it folds. So we're going to put some highlights right about there. We'll do this right here because he's in the back, so you know that that's going to be darker. And then the bottom flags, let's color those. Oh, let's see. What do we want to do? Let's do the melon mambo. Let's do melon. All right, so let's go ahead and color this one. Oh, I got the big tip. All right, so we're going to come in. This is the light. Looks pretty dark, doesn't it? All right, this is the light melon. And then we're going to come in with the dark and again, do a little bit of accents right where the flag is folded. Okay. And then all of these are going to get popped up on dimensionals. So let's bring those in. All right. Hang on a minute. I got to find them. I know they're here. Oh, there they are, hiding underneath the little piglet. Okay. So let's do. Okay, let's move this out of the way. All right, let's flip the piggy over. And we're just going to start adding some dimensionals. And I'm going to place some, one in each ear. And we just want to make sure we have enough that's going to keep him so he looks popped up. So we just add some down by his feet or hooves, whatever you want to refer to them as. And we're going to put one right in the center where his belly is. Okay. So we'll bring in our card and push these down with your fingernails. And it helps to lift your dimensionals up. You can take your pick tool. I just find it easier to do it this way. And then once I'm done, I always go through and make sure, but you all probably do the same thing, right? Make sure that all the backings are off. All right, so we're going to put the little piggy, I'll put him right about like that. He's going to hang over just a tad, not much, but we're going to place him right about there. All right, now we have his flag, so we need to put some dimensionals on his flag. So let's put one large one there, and then we'll use some mini dimensionals so we can get into the small areas. I'm going to put one there. I'm going to put one down towards the bottom right here so you don't see it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue once we get it on here. That will hold the flag pole down, if you will. All right, so we're going to place that in his hand. I'm going to put a little dab of glue right there. And we're going to put that let's put it right here. All right, so there's the piggy. All right, now we've got to do his sentiment. And we're going to make this a birthday card. I'll use the same sentiment that I used on the one that you can see on the table. And I have a scrap here. So we're going to use the happy birthday to you. And I think I'm going to, hi, Judy, how are you? Should I do the summer splash or should I do the melon mambo? What do you all think? Leave me a comment. I know there's about a 15-second delay. I'm going to go ahead and stamp both sentiments, and then you can decide which one that you think we should use. All right, so let's stamp. This is Summer Splash. We're going to stamp that right there. Okay, there's the one. All right, and then we're going to do Melon Mambo. Let me clean this. And you all decide. Make a comment in the comment section. Which one do you think will look better? So I'm going to lay them right here next to the piggy. I'm leaning towards the Summer Splash myself. But what do you all think? Phyllis says melon. Karen says the Summer Splash. All right, couple more. We need to can't have a tie. All right, Judy, Linda, Jane, what do y'all think? Which one do you like? So while you're doing that, I'm going to start fussy cutting. How's that? So I'm gonna start fussy cutting while y'all do that. That way I'll have them both ready when we decide to move forward. So y'all got a couple of seconds to make your comments, and then we will move on. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start fussy cutting, so then we can move on to our next card. All right. So, and we are just going to keep cutting along here. And this one, I'm just going to cut this part straight. The top part, I did a fussy cut for the lettering. And then this one, I'm just going to cut this straight as well, just to give it. All right, let's cut that off. I'll come back and check the comments here in just a minute. You have a few minutes to go ahead and do that. And let's get this cut. And we're going to cut this one up. Okay, so there's the summer splash, summer splash, summer splash. Uh-oh, everybody's saying summer splash. All right, well, that's the one we're going to go with. Okie doke. So good, that's the one I cut first. So we'll save this one for another card. All right, this one I'm going to lay it flat. I'm just going to lay it right on top of his little belly. So we'll just glue that down with our adhesive. Put a little bit of Tombow on that. All right, and I will bring the sketch up again for those that just joined. All right, we're going to lay it right there on his belly. And then you can dress this up any way that you would like. Okay, so there is our card. And for those that just joined, here is the sketch again. This is our piglet right here. This piece is this one, and then the summer splash is this one. So this is the sketch, and that's our little pig. And for those, this is the initial one that I did. Isn't that cute? All right, so let's move on to the next one. Now this little piggy is gonna get a little dirty. He's gonna be out playing in the mud. So let's move this trash out of the way. Now this one, we're gonna do this in a different color, but this is one I did as a sample. And this is on pecan pie, and I'm using last year's, excuse me, let's see. This is the Glorious Gingham 6x6 paper. And this is in colors of berry burst, blueberry bushel, pecan pie, pretty peacock. Stampin' Up had sent these to me by mistake, and they didn't want me to send them back, so they gave them to me. So that's so I got a lot of that. But isn't this cute? This little piggy looks like he's been playing in the mud. And I used the Country Corners dies to cut out the gingham that the piggy is laying on, and it's the second largest is what I used. And this is, I stamped him on beige cardstock, and used the pecan pie ink. And then I used the light petal pink to color in his ears. But we're going to do this in a different color. But I thought that was cute for that one. So we're going to do something similar. We're just going to change up the colors. All right, so that one, we're going to come in, and we're going to do Berry Burst. So let's put that off to the side. We're going to use Berry Burst, and then we're going to use Bubble Bath for the coloring of the pig. This pig here we did in Flirty Flamingo. So again, we have our card base that's 5.5 by 8.5. We scored it at 4 1/4. And this is Berry Burst. And let's get that set up and even so we can go ahead and give that a good crease with the bone folder. All right. And again, we're going to start with the measurement. Now this one I made a little bit larger than I did on the other card. So this piece of Berry Burst is going to be 5.5 by 1 1/4. So this one's a little bit bigger, and I'm going to have a little piece hanging over the edge, which is fine because I'd rather do that. And then I'll just trim it off. And we're going to save the back side. This checkered side is what we're going to use that the pig is going to lay on. So let's go ahead and get this laid down. Now, again, I've already pre-cut the pig, and I'll show you if you just joined. how I stamped it so that you make sure you don't get anything that might be cut off or you can't see. All right, so we've got that there. So let's bring in their paper snips, and we're going to just trim this little tiny piece off the top. All right, and then again, for those that are just joining, I stamped the pig. It comes in 2 pieces, and I stamped with this large gap because this area right here, when you cut it, you'll see right here. Let me pull the piggy out. This is how his body is, okay? So you want to make sure that you don't get him too close. Otherwise, you won't have enough room to line up his head on top of his body. All right, so that's how it's going to line up. Now, there is a circle that will cut out the center of the belly, and you can order. Stampin' Up carries the little shaker bubbles. So I'll get some of those this next month when I place an order, and we'll do some more. We'll do some shaker cards. So we can then cut out his little belly, and we'll put some embellishments on the inside, and then we'll be able to shake him up and make it look cute and fun. All right, so that's the pig. So we need to go ahead and color him. And we have our, all right, so we've placed this one down. Now I'm going to put, this is the next to the largest country corner, and I'm going to place this at an angle right about like that, and then the pig will go on top of here. I'm going to go ahead and lay this down now. And again, that's the back side of the paper. So we'll just get this adhered. Okay, and let's just kind of lay it, kind of like about like that. Whatever you want. Okay, so now we're going to come in with our bubble bath. I'm going to use the dark bubble bath. Whoops, let me get to the big points. All right, we're going to color, and this is one of the colors that our color coach shows that we'll go with. I'm going to color these spots here inside of the ears. So we're going to do that with a darker color, and you can go back over this several times if you want it darker than what it actually does. If you want it to be really dark, of course, we got to color his nose, right? He's got to be dark. And then this one, I think we'll do, I think I'm going to color his feet, these little hoof things. We're going to make those a different color, but I'm going to make this dark here for the arms. And this part down here, I'm doing the dark. And I think let's do like a, I don't know what color pig's feet are. Let's go with a light pecan. Let's do that. So we'll make his little feet, we'll make it a light pecan. We'll add that right here. Okay. Oops. Now we forgot. Look at that. I forgot to color the others. I think I come back. Forgot the belly. We're going to color these in the dark as well. And we're going to do that one and this one. And we can come back and make those darker if we want them to stand out a little bit more. Okay. All right. And then we've got the light bubble bath. So this is where we're going to color his entire body and face. And then we're going to come in and we'll do some blending. So give me just a minute. We're going to color the little piggy's face. And we're going to do some sponging, some blending with the blending brushes. And we're just going to come back, trying to keep it as smooth so we don't have too many lines in here. So what do y'all think about this stamp set? Isn't this cute? You've probably seen some stamps, cards already made using this set, but I thought it was cute. All right, so let's do coloring. And I'm going to go around his belly. And if you don't want the white on below the legs showing, you could always color that with your markers if you want. It's up to you. I don't think it's that big of a deal, actually, but some people might, and we may go ahead and do that. So we're just going to color his body. And as you can see, I'm just doing the lines going across, trying to keep the color similar so we don't overshadow too much of it and get it darker. This part right here is fine because we're not going to see that. Now we can come back. Let's do that. Let's come back and go around the edges so it looks all pink. And we don't have any white showing. All right, let's do that. We'll color all the way around. We'll color around his tail and around his feet. There we go. And we'll do the same thing up here. Let's do that. Let's color on the outside of the black where the white is, just to give it a different look. All right, so we're going to go around the top of his head, and let's do his neck. Hang on a second. Let me flip him around so I can get to it. All right, so we're just going to lightly color. Cover up the white so it doesn't look so stark. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, now we're going to leave that like that because we're going to come in and make him kind of dirty. So we're going to bring in a blending brush, and we're going to use our pecan pie, and we're going to put a little dirt on his belly like he's been out rubbing in the mud. So I'm just going to take the blending brush, and I'm going to find my scrap piece of paper and tap off just a little bit. And I'm just going to come in and make some little brown spots on him to make it look like he's been in the mud. His belly's a little dirty. All right, so let's do a little bit more. Kind of make him look like he's a mess. All right, there we go. Okay. And we probably could get a little bit on his face. Let's put a little bit down here on the cheeks because he's probably been in here eating. All right. Okay, doke. Now we're going to put him together. So again, we're going to pop him up on dimensionals. I'm going to put some glue right here just to get him attached, to get his head attached to his body. Okay, so this is where we want to line it. Now you can twist it a little bit so it looks like he's kind of looking at you a little crooked. All right, so we've got that there. Okay, we're going to flip him over. Let's add our dimensionals, and then we do need to color our flags again. And then let's get these dimensionals on here. Put one there. We'll put one there to help hold that together. And then never have enough dimensionals, right? Put one there, down by his feet. All right, and let's put one there. I think that's good. Let's put one in the center, just to be on the safe side. All right, we'll pop these out. All right, give me a second. Let me push my fingernail down, make it a lot easier and faster to get these off. All right. And then this one, he is going to be a party animal. So we're going to stamp Let's Party on his sentiment. Yeah, let's see. Did I get them all off? Nope, got one there. Yep, we're good. All right, so we're going to lay him down. And we're going to put him right about there. We'll bring him up a little bit higher because we're going to put his sentiment down below. So we're going to put him like that. And then we got to color the flags. So let's do... How about if we do Berry Burst, which is his color? Let's do the light. And let's leave one of the flags. Let's see how we want to do that. Maybe we should just leave it white. This is the light. Doesn't that look dark? All right, there's that. Let's add another color. Let's do the bubble bath. Let's do the light bubble bath. We'll just color this one down here. All right, there's that. Okay, put a dimensional on the back of this one. We just probably need one right there. And then we need a small dimensional, a mini dimensional. And we're going to put two. We'll put one here. Actually, that's probably all we need. And then I'm going to put another piece of glue right there like we did before. So let's get him on here, and then we'll do the sentiment. Well, this isn't taking very long at all. We'll be done in no time. All right, so he's waving his flag. So we're going to put that right about there, just barely on the edge. He's got his little dirty belly. Now we're going to stamp. I think I'm going to try to stamp on this in the berry burst. Let's see how that looks. If not, we'll flip it over and we'll cover it up with a piece of white. Let's see how that works. I think it should be fine. So let's see. Let me locate that birthday. Here he is. Let's see. Let's party. That's what we're going to stamp. Take that off. All right, so let's stamp that on here. I'm going to stamp it more to the right because we're going to add some ribbon to that. I think that'll be fine. We can put that right on there. Or do you think we should do white? What do y'all think? Let's see. Let's stamp it again in white. Maybe the white would look better since we have the dark background. Let's stamp it on white. And let's see. I think the white might look better. All right. Love them. Let's go, hogs. All right. Okay, so here would be the white. Let me cut this real quick. And that way we'll get a better idea. Hopefully I can cut it straight. All right, and we'll cut that here. All right, and give me 1 second. Let me just trim here. All right, get ready to respond. The white, I think, looks better. Or which one do you think? I think the white looks better, actually. This one is hard to see because it blends in with the cardstock. So we're going to go with white. So in that case, I was going to use some white baker's twine. So let's see what we can do here. We can still do the white. Let's see what that looks like. Let's go ahead and wrap this. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. And I'm going to wrap it on the right or the left side. I'm just going to put a little bit of seal just to hold it in place, and then we'll tie a bow. All right, well, we're going to go with white baker's twine, and I'm going to roll this, just wrap it around a couple of times. I'm going to move it over so we don't cover up the L. All right, let's do it. That's 3 times. Let's let that go like that. And then we're going to tie a bow. Give me just a second. Bring in my ribbon scissors. Hold on a minute. They cut much easier and they're much sharper. So let's go ahead and trim this guy up. There we go. All right. And then we're going to take a piece. Let me go ahead and cut this. We're going to tie a bow. I have a mess on my desk, don't I? All right. I'm going to bend this in just enough so that I can feed the thread through here. All right, and then we're going to tie a bow. And obviously I've got way too much twine, but that's okay. We'll just trim it down. And then we're going to pop this up on dimensionals. All right, we got that. And see if we can get this to lay flat once we get it tied. I should get my bow maker out. It does a lot easier job with the bows. All right, so we're going to pull that in. Okay. All right, let's bring this down, make his bow a little bit smaller. And it's twisting it, which I do not like. Okay, hang on. Let's give me a little twisty here. This one's all twisted. We don't want twisted. Then you can't see our bow. Hang on a minute. I know this is a little bit being particular, but we want the bow to look nice and not all round, twirled around. All right, so there's that. Let's cut some of the, there we go. All right, so there is our bow. I'm going to tighten this up just a little bit. This little guy right here doesn't want to cooperate, does he? This one wants to twist around. I'm going to hold him in place. All right, give me 1 second. Let's get him to tighten up here. There we go. Okay, we'll get these little tails down. All right, let's put some dimensionals on this one. And I'm going to add, probably just need 2. So we'll just put 2 dimensionals on this guy. All right. And we're going to put him right underneath. I think the white looks much better, obviously. And we'll put that right down below his feet that says, "Let's party." All right. And then we're going to add our inside piece, which is a 4 by 5 1/4 basic white. We'll put that on the inside so we can write our message. And if you want to stamp something on the inside, you obviously have the happy birthday or any other stamp set that you have. All right, so let's get this moved out of the way. And let's bring in the cards. Give me a second here while I clean up all these little tabs. Okay, whoops, we'll just move all these over. All right, so there's this card and then there's that card. So those are the 2 cards that we made. Here are the 2 cards that I initially designed. So you've got all 4 of those in there. Here's the sketch again. Just goes to show how easy it is to use a sketch. And then you can take that sketch and use that as a starting point. And then it allows you to make any changes that you want. So there are the 2 cards that I made. Berry Burst with a little piggy that looks like he's been rolling in the mud. This one is in Pecan Pie. This is the one I did with the Summer Splash and the Petal Pink. I'm sorry, the Flirty Flamingo. My apologies. And then this one was done with Bubble Bath. Oh, I went hog wild. Thank you. All right, everybody, that is all today for our Creation Anticipation sketch class. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you're looking to purchase any supplies and you're not working with a demonstrator, you can shop in my online store. There's a link down below the video. And if you like what you saw, please make sure that you share with your other friends, crafty friends. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, everybody, that's it for today. I will see you next Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock, and we'll be doing another creation of greeting cards. All right, see ya. If you have any questions or need anything, please reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Bye now.